Breakfast? So easy.
Oh my God, Daddy's back!
Yes. Yeah.
How long did it take you?
Less than like 2 minutes. Like
Daddy's back and he's early.
That's
That's
dude, if I leave my classes,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
like I left him
No, now
early
he's
before the
leaving,
bell
and
rang,
now
but none of my
he's
No,
teachers
he's coming
care.
back on time. He'll
So
be on time
and then I
when
get on the
blah,
path
blah,
this
blah.
morning. Hi Tiffany.
He doesn't know about the tardy police. He missed it.
Can I go to the bathroom?
I don't know if he had. I don't. It didn't say anything about COVID yesterday. It just said it.
He said he has COVID. He literally just said it.
Who?
Dad. Who does? Fatty?
Daddy has COVID right now?
Had. He's been out a week. It's past the incubation stage, right?
Yeah.
So, this isn't a fancy skateboard or anything. It's one of these plastic ones.
It's just a penny board.
Any board they call it?
Yeah.
Did you ride it before you got
Do you have a long board?
I do have a longboard.
Alright, so
Oh,
it's not like
cool.
Yeah, I got both. What?
Alright, at least.
Dude, I ride them all the time.
Oh
Around my
my God,
neighborhood.
he's so indie.
It's not a. Oh my god.
It's not a
Ellie,
sport.
just because like I don't do it to be that guy. Ooh,
You
look at
seem like
me.
you do.
To be Marty
I'm pretty
McFly?
sure I watched your skateboard crash into a big thing of ice.
I did do that this morning because nobody would get out of the way. I went to turn and everybody was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna keep walking." No.
You had the bail?
Like I was like, "Oh."
But to be fair,
everybody.
I don't think anybody's looking out for anybody riding a penny board. And getting
Yeah,
out.
you
Well,
gotta
now-
be careful.
No, here's the thing. I'm like, "Oh, everybody's gonna be going left."
Chuck, your
and I'll
friends.
just turn
I'm
left
so
the
surprised your
other
friends
way.
don't want to push them
And then they're like, "Oh, just keep walking." So I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
I kicked it into a snowman.
Chuck, there's no
Yeah,
chance.
you gotta be
Picked it
careful,
up,
buddy.
came back, and then it was fine.
Are you allowed to ride a skateboard in school? On the path?
If I'm not, I'm gonna continue to do so.
Until he gets yelled at.
Until someone says not to, and then I'm going to continue.
I didn't see it right. I look around over there.
Pretty good.
It's good.
Of course, seeing how you jump seats all the time, I have no clue.
Okay, I was sitting here today.
Okay. Yeah, I did not see it.
That's the second one I've watched.
Sorry.
What is it?
Well, you didn't find one?
Word of the
No.
day.
Usually people will put it up on the table if they see one on the desk.
Oriental black
Keep
mushroom.
looking, maybe another class? Not on that table?
Doesn't have to be. I swear. Everything
That's
I
like
put there is
not a nice term.
Oriental black mushroom.
Like if you're talking about.
I'm talking about a mushroom. Ellie, how is that? It's a mushroom.
No, you don't use the term Oriental when you're talking about
Talking
people.
about somebody, yeah.
Yeah, because I forget.
Hey.
It's like a region. Not a region. It's like some kind of.
Don't ask me. Ask the dictionary.
It's like Caucasian. I think the same class of word.
A mushroom.
No, that's Occidental. Dang, I don't know. No,
Oriental.
Occidental.
Oriental is referring to.
like shiitake.
Your body type or something like
anybody ever had
that.
It's like
shiitake?
national. It's like a race.
Oriental.
Asia is a region and regional.
Yeah, that's what it's referring to. Like Asian.
Oriental. I've never heard of that.
That's what we kind of.
You're not supposed to. It's like
Shunned
it's
it.
like it's not a nice term.
You're not supposed to use it when you talk about.
It's against my own kind. We good.
Ooh, what a day. Did you guys see the announcements?
No.
They did a thing on the dog show, but
Oh,
then
the
they
dog.
interviewed this lady
Yeah, nah.
who
That's
talks to
cap.
dead-
She cannot talk to dogs.
Yeah, she talks to your dead pets for you, and I'm like, well, how do you verify that? Like, there's no way. Like, oh yeah, that's exactly what my dog would say.
It's literally impossible.
Yeah. So I think I was cracking up so bad in class, but then some kids were defending it. Because maybe it helps
There's no
people feel
defending
better.
to be done.
Well,
It's
she
like-
claimed
You
it
can
might help
talk
people
at
feel better
dogs.
about having lost their dog. I'm like, oh, that's exactly
How
what
come
the
feel
con
better
artist
for
does.
just saying what you?
Here, I'll take your $50.
Yeah, I'll take your
Feel
50
better.
I'll take anybody's $50 to tell them what their dog was like.
Yeah, I don't feel like making people feel better by who
I'll-
taking the
yeah.
money is.
Chuck, I'll take your $50. Actually, you can take my $50, and you can tell me.
Bucks?
Yeah.
Like dollars?
Yeah.
You gotta communicate with his dead.
Yeah, you have to communicate with my dead dog that died in like. See, exactly. Cause he doesn't.
Oh, you're talking about like
Like the fake.
like psychic,
Yeah.
not real. It's a
was on
scam.
Medium.
Yeah.
It's a
Medium.
it's a
Yeah.
scam. It's a scam.
A pet medium.
I don't know.
Hey, What up, Fluffy?
There's so much mean. There's
They
some
just
that
go,
are like, those cannot be fake.
Well, I can see.
No, there's some that cannot be fake.
Exactly, yeah.
And
They
you're
just
supposed
throw
to-
out words and then you attach to them.
Well,
Like,
I
it's a
she was
trick.
here this morning.
What?
How does
Mr. Eggers won't let me write
What?
it inside.
No, absolutely not. I'm serious. I will write you up.
Yeah, he's gonna write me up. I don't want that.
I would get fired if I don't write you up.
No, you'll be a
Yes, I
good.
would.
You'll be a
Anything
cool.
happened or anything.
You'll be a cool teacher if you don't
Even
write
words
me
got
up.
out of it. No.
Fine, I'll just go write it in the hallway.
No, that's not. You get 20 teachers writing you up.
I don't want people to write me up for a penny board that I may or may not even be able to ride in the first place.
Oh my God, Pete's on time.
Almost on time.
First time ever. Always.
Whoa, you alright?
Yeah.
Oh, well, welcome back. Welcome back.
What?
Oh, Charles is sitting in the COVID seat.
Boy.
Fatty here.
Fatty's here.
Fatty had COVID.
I'm sorry, that was really bad.
You know the first thing he said to me when he walked in, he goes, I had COVID.
He did.
I was like,
But he's over it, so it's all good.
Yeah.
I think a lot
He
of people
walks
in
in with the
the
backpack down and he goes, I had COVID.
How many people in here you think had COVID?
I've had it.
The thing says
I had it
does not.
Dude, I got it over Christmas break. I got it on Christmas Eve.
I know it,
We
bro.
were
I
talking
know
about
it's
how,
at least
like,
half.
on
I saw you
Saturday,
dancing out
it's
there.
just, like,
Yeah.
We wanted to know, I don't know, this girl
You
wanted
were
to go
dancing?
see that.
You
And
it
we
was
was
just
like, oh my god.
Oh my
Did
god.
In the
you
pit.
know that?
Yeah, I
Like,
love
I'm
that.
gonna know
He
that.
wasn't
And
doing
I'm
that.
like, okay, but why would you
He
say
does it
that?
real
Just
crazy.
the little things like that, he always says, it's just
Yeah.
Bro, you remember him at East?
Yes.
He did every
He would
Five?
dance in the talent show and everybody would go nuts.
What did he say?
Exactly. It's so fun. It's like it's funny, but like it's really cool because
Okay, we're talking
he doesn't
about-
care
what are you
what
talking about?
anyone says,
Like,
and he just
like,
does, and he just dances.
Right?
Puns.
Okay,
Insane.
yeah.
Get out.
He was like,
Did the bell ring?
What?
I was crying.
No,
Oh,
it
it feels like it did, but it sounds in the hallway like it
Got
didn't.
what he said.
I don't think
Oh,
it really-
Sai.
Like,
Yeah, it must have been
you had, like, you have, like, it's so different.
No, I think we have another minute.
I just find it sad.
You want that?
Dude, no, Charles.
Like, you're
That's
so
the second
mean
thing I'm gonna
to
write
me.
you
Then
up
told
for.
me
Put
to
that
take
football
it
away
away.
now.
I'm giving it to him.
Si, put that football away now.
Sucks, man.
You're,
Well, I will take it.
You were the guy. You were the ones who wanted it for football.
Yeah, anyways.
I'll take it, but
It's deflated, yeah, but like
I'll pump it
you
up back
want
on
it.
too. I got you.
No, you're not.
I'll just go to my seat.
I'm about to take it.
Yeah.
I want that thing put in a bag and secured out of sight, out of mind.
There it's fine.
It can disappear.
I'll keep it.
Alright, because I know you guys like want that.
So you're bringing it all home. I don't want to, except for the 3 towels I'm bringing it home right now.
You giving him a broken football
Yeah,
and told him not to break it?
I don't play with it, dude. I keep it in my room. But like I'm saying, I have a football, and if you guys want it,
Shut up.
use it. Just
Look at my hand.
yeah.
That's messed up, bro.
No, it's not, Si. Yeah, Celine.
Why? Sit down. You just
Why? Because reasons.
Which
Did
is
class
law.
start?
No, we're just
Where
waiting
is
for you,
every-
Charles.
We're waiting for
As soon as
Matt.
you have a
Where
seat.
is everybody? I was like waiting for more people to come. Like I didn't.
Okay. Well, I have a writing prompt for you all. Get to that, baby.
Oh. Because I was waiting for like more people, but like no one.
I think everybody's here. Just Alexa. Where's that
And Fatty is again late.
Alexa, Josh.
Pretty much sad.
He always comes late. I know that.
But maybe turn over a new leaf. Having realized how close he came to dancing with COVID or whatever. Writing prompt 8 here is, okay, I've mentioned yesterday about the timeline, and I have on the board here just a little plot line for the Crucible. The Crucible.
No, I know, but like, we're doing this.
No, we're just looking at it as an example of what a plot. Dude, come on,
Sir,
man. That
sir,
sucks.
hey,
The bathrooms downstairs were all being used. The one upstairs had like a bunch of chocolates and stuff in that toilet, bro. So like, how could I use it? I had to like go around finding one that's like open.
I just don't know about that.
Yeah.
I think it's the girls' bathrooms that get backed up, cause it's like all these girls lined up, but the guys' bathrooms are never backed up, are they?
You'd be surprised.
Hmm.
There's people who hang out in the back.
Oh, the vapors? Are they still
So
vaping?
weird.
Do
Yes.
people still vape? I don't hear
Yeah.
about vaping much.
Yes.
They got that mango flavored
Some
cancer,
girls
you know?
eat lunch.
Yeah.
I know.
Why?
It's kind of annoying.
Do you eat lunch in the bathroom?
I've walked
Isn't
in
that
there
clean?
sometimes.
What?
And if
No,
like,
it's not. I've gone to the bathrooms and there's been poop on the walls. You gonna eat in there? That's disgusting. Okay. Well, the plot line here is just like Ellie, you just tell some of the key essential moments in the plot, and you're using this prompt to brainstorm what's going to happen in your story. You're trying to figure out what you're going to write eventually. I know. That's why we're doing this prompt right now. You're going to sit down and try to figure it out.
Yep.
But you know, just like the first scene in the Crucible is the whole top line. There are like 5 things that I listed up there. The girls are dancing in the woods. Tituba told Abby, "Oh, that'd be a bad thing, Abby." And Abby rips the head off a chicken. I think we talked about it yesterday. And the chaos, and then that's all one scene. And then we go to the next scene, and you list a couple of key things that happen in that scene. It can be bits of dialogue you think a character might say. You have a cool line in your head already about something that's going to happen at one point. And then you can have flashbacks on your plot line. So we won't call it a timeline, but a plot line, because you might at some point start writing about a flashback. And it's the order that you're going to tell the story in. You're going to lay it out. The thing is, you'll have to do it vertically, right in the in Canvas. So you can use bullet points basically, and that's what's going to happen. The earliest things are at the top, and then just progress through the story and brainstorm and see what you can do. Begin.
Oh.
Peter, this means stop playing with fish. What the crap is that? Was it that aqua or whatever game? Yeah. Is there a third one? There wasn't one yesterday.
Or the one before.
107? It was about brainstorming concrete ways to represent abstract words. I have an example. You didn't see it? It was in the prompt. I linked it.
What I said was like really confusing.
You take that back. 'Cause I wrote that.
Like it was like it was asking.
I was.
me about
You're
something.
saying that I was.
Hold on.
Really? Wow. 150 words.
Yeah.
Upping the number. It used to be
Swear to
50.
God, there's gonna be a writing prompt where we have to write like 300 words.
Probably.
Don't even say that.
I like that.
Didn't we already do that though with the blind date thing? Or is that like 200 words?
I don't remember.
I don't even know what, dude, I don't even know what my story is about.
With the show don't
What
tell
is it?
guideline in mind. Show.
What?
Oh, this isn't even the one I was talking about. So the show don't
I
tell
got it.
rule is that you.
Haven't got it.
Instead of putting a label on Fish Off that he's sad, you gotta show him.
I feel like the story that
First off,
I'm thinking of is already
Who's that?
Just some imaginary character for Huh? So, you can change the name, it says right there in the prompt, you can use a different name.
Should tell guideline. What is that?
So, if you. Yeah. Yeah, you got a class in yeah, I'll come back and tell you in a second, alright?
Okay, I'll go work on my
Mr. Eggers is flat.
Here, look at the video.
That's
Who said that? Look at it, it's so funny.
How to write a story.
Peter, you good, mate?
Squish?
Huh?
I just switched it.
You good?
Alright, where was I, Fatty? Oh yeah, so, instead of putting the label sad on the print off, you have to show him being sad. What does he look like when he's sad? What's his body language? His posture? What is his actions are then? Actions are then, is he doing? He is doing actions, yeah. And,
Really lost.
you can even show his thoughts and what he says to in the scenes up to you, but you wanna show him being sad without using the word sad or some other word to represent that. So that we can tell he's sad without you directly telling him. Okay? Yeah. And you, again, you can use other emotions, other character names if you want.
Mr. Eggers, what like science classes are there like about
Huh?
the Earth?
Earth science?
Is that
At our school? I think that's what you took in ninth grade, isn't it?
no
That's what you took in ninth grade.
physics?
Wait, earth science or something?
There used to be earth science for ninth grade.
I thought it was
Geophysics.
Oh,
We were the
yours?
first year that didn't take that.
Okay. Well, there's ecology too, I think you did ecology.
What's ecology?
That's like studying the environment, ecosystem.
That's what I mean.
Like tectonic, pressure, biomes.
I don't have a plot. Like I couldn't think so.
Oh, right. Didn't you have a character?
Yeah. Like bugs. Hold on, let me pull up my. Like I made it.
I will.
They had something weird.
They'll be like,
Killer.
And then I decided to take that.
His mom has like, his mom takes schizophrenic.
Yeah, there's really nothing about it.
What part was that?
So the character break?
No, the climax is the builder.
It's
a bit- The climax is like the builder. Exactly. Not the plot, the main thing. No.
Wait, you read this in America? No. The Nuremberg trial was like, on the box. Oh, yeah, I did, I was that one. Well, so, we were talking about like yesterday, and stuff, they were talking about how, like, some of the other, like, more criminals. So ready now? I heard about that.
Unbeknownst to them?
Oh, I'm writing a story? Oh my god.
Mate, where you been the last week?
Why couldn't I think of it?
3 pages?
What's the meaning?
3 pages? I don't know. I'm barely dyslexic. I can't write.
So this could be a
It's
long
a short
story.
story, it's gonna be that
I
hard.
work 5.3. I know, I think I'm doing that. It's so much work.
Falls in love with
That's why
the
I
girl.
don't put in work.
But she's like, the whole time, making that comparison.
Yeah, didn't I write that?
Oh. Yeah. You have to make things.
Do you want me to create multiple different scenes of the same, like, theme story? Do you want me to do multiple different themes and multiple different stories? Like, you want just to get the general idea of how this works, or you want me to do, like, from my story, scenes from that?
Your story.
My-
The next thing we're gonna do is write the story, so you might as well.
The next thing we're gonna do is
Like I
rest.
told her,
Yeah,
like,
pretty much.
Man, there's nothing else to learn.
Just some grammar stuff I want to talk about. And we'll kind of do that while we're getting the story.
I have an idea of what I want to write.
Oh, I should also say to everybody that, when I do have you write the story, it's not gonna have a minimum length, but it's gonna have all these elements in the rubric that I want you to achieve and apply in the story. And once you've achieved that, you don't really have to write more, so if your story, winds up being a lot longer than you think you would need to do to achieve all the stuff in the rubric, you don't have to write the whole story necessarily, it could be part of a story. Sometimes while you're planning it out, you realize, wow, this is actually a novel, like I got all these things I want to happen, and then you wind up for the assignment just writing part of it, so that's okay, that's legit.
Weapon Alexa.
You want girly?
Josh?
Charles, are you doing the prompt right now?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I am.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie?
I already finished.
Oh, then you should read your book. How many people are done? Keep going. When you do finish, yeah, you should read your novel. Did you finish?
Yeah.
Charles,
What?
you wrote 116 words.
I couldn't think of anything else.
It's 150 words minimum.
Do you want me to try again?
Yeah, add more.
Alright.
Come on, man. Why are you doing this to yourself?
I can't think of anything.
You actually check?
Yes, he actually checks. The second he asked me if I was done, I knew he was gonna check. And it
Only
sound-
because I noticed something.
Alright, I'll try again. I'll add another C.
Is everybody done? What's that?
I'm not done.
You still working?
Yeah.
How about we talk in 3 minutes? See what you can add. You can keep doing it while we talk.
Okay.
Did you do it, Charles?
What?
You did it?
Yeah, I'm good.
That makes you a liar. Yeah. Because you said you can't think of any more. And look, you're thinking of more.
Well, I
Does that make him a liar?
said that earlier.
Oh, that's true.
There.
Couldn't admit that.
No, I finished. Now I'm done. 160.
Seriously, Charles?
What?
Yesterday's comp, or comp 7, supposed to be 100 words.
Didn't I?
How many did you write?
72.
What do you mean? Hang on, I don't know
Why you
remember
doing this
this.
to yourself, man?
Which one even was writing for episode?
The one about Kirchhoff being sad.
Oh yeah, that one I had nothing else to.
Yes, you did.
But I couldn't think of anything. I had
That's
no
your
more. I
friends,
had
they
no
can
more
help you.
details.
Well, I will help you. You didn't ask me.
I'm not as creative as writing as you are.
You are more creative. You come in here so creative, and you say all these things.
No, I come in here energetic. And
No, you have full of ideas that come out. Only you have to put them on paper. All right, Dan. Let's do a little grammar. I promised you grammar at some point, and it's about time.
it is that.
It is that time. Who here knows what a preposition is?
Prepositions. I forgot.
Preposition.
Yeah, I forgot.
Okay. You know?
Is it like where something is in like relation to like under or like over?
Yeah. So a word that shows where something is positionally, physically in relation to something else, or in time too. So we have, and then there are words like of, which show a relationship too. Like, I am Jan, son of Wolfgang. And there it's not really a position. I guess it's a position in our family tree or something. But yeah, the word after, for example, I chase after my dog, or I run after my dog. But you can also say, I run after school. Is your school running away from you? Are you chasing it?
No.
No, that all of a sudden becomes a time thing, right? That you're running after a certain time. So we can use some of these prepositions in multiple ways, like after and before especially, and there are other ones too. But I wanted to look at prepositional phrases a little bit, and maybe some of these other phrase types. But before I do that, I should explain why. And as everybody looking at other material, like you're like, oh, grammar, I think I'll just go on my phone here and look up stuff. What'd you call me?
I said I'm doing the writing prom.
Oh, getting sassy. Okay, I see how it is. Take it a tone.
Come on, Ava.
Put
you
those
better-
eyebrows down, Ava. No, I said you could. I said you could.
Ava, did you just roll your eyes at me?
No.
Whoa! She rolled her eyes at me?
No.
Oh. You want to know who the most fearsome eye roller is in the world?
Alexa.
My older sister Nina. She can make me feel so worthless just by rolling her eyes at me one time. Oh, she's so powerful. But the reason we're going to be looking at these different structures is, what's his name? Luca. Make sure you look away. Is because it's important to incorporate a variety of sentence structures in your own writing. And I don't know that you even care, like at this stage, but trust me, when you get to college, if you go to college, you're gonna be wishing you had learned how to incorporate different sentence structures in your writing. And wait, what's funny about what I said?
I don't know, she just laughed.
Ava, you tell on her if she's doing something wrong. She already threw you under the bus.
Okay.
So what we want to do is avoid having the same pattern over and over and over again grammatically. You don't want all your sentences to start with a subject, a noun, and then have a verb after it. What did I just say?
You don't want all your sentences to start the same with a subject, not a noun, whatever.
Yeah. So I have an example here on the board. I went to Target. I went to the candy section. I got 70% cocoa chocolate bar. It was great. And it's all subject-verb constructs, and it has a repetitive rhythm. And what it does is it sounds simplistic. You write your college application essay like this, you're not getting in probably to that school. You want to avoid the repeated patterns. And there's even a sort of an unspoken rule or a guideline that you should vary your sentence starters. So don't start your sentences in a paragraph with the same word. Maybe once in a while you can have a couple. And sometimes you can use repetition intentionally to make a point. But other than that, yeah, vary your sentence starters even. What's that?
You're so alone.
Oh, you are. You're on an
My friends live
island.
here. I don't know.
Did you fart or something? And they were all like, let's get out of here.
Oh, he's back.
You're not alone anymore.
I'm not alone.
So what can we do to avoid that kind of thing? We use some different structures, and that's what this handout here is about. It's linked in today's, in the modules for today's date. The page for today's date. And there are 4 phrase types and 2 clause types that I want to look at. There are some others out there, but I didn't feel like they need to be included at this stage. And some of them are kind of obscure, like infinitival clauses or infinitive clauses are, you do see them, but I don't think that's all that noteworthy to study them, because we already know how to use them. It's just, and they don't really apply to creating sentence variety so much either. Okay, so there are 4 phrase types and 2 clause types, and I thought we'd look at prepositional phrases first. And what is a prepositional phrase? It's just a group. A phrase itself is a group of words that doesn't have a subject or it doesn't have a verb. And it's distinct from what a clause is. A clause has a subject or verb. A phrase doesn't have one or the other or both. And so we call a prepositional phrase, it's a phrase that starts with a preposition. That's it. That's a prepositional phrase. Usually they have also a noun, of course. They have to have something that's the object of the preposition, we call it. And so we have here at the bottom, and bottom is a noun, and at is the preposition, and then there's an article, the, put in there. Articles are modifiers like adjectives, a, and the. And that's a common way to make them. You can also not have the article sometimes too, and there's some examples here in the back. But as far as sentence variety goes, look. I could have started this sentence, he looked glumly at the bottom down the tunnel. And it would have been the subject, verb, pattern like over there. And you can use that once in a while, it's just you don't want to do it over and over and over again for all your sentences. And so, what if I just take the prepositional phrase and move it to the front? And now I have a different rhythm to it. And I can read it out loud. At the bottom, he looked glumly down the tunnel. And there's a pause here even, and you can hear the rhythm of it. And then if you hear several sentences in concert with different patterns to them and you read it out loud, you can maybe hear a rhythm being established and be mindful of it. And maybe even sometimes you just get a sense that something doesn't flow very well and you have to reword it. And it's something to consider. How do the words sound when you read them out loud, or at least read them in your head and hear them in your head? Is there a rhythm to it? it is a good idea, by the way, to read your writing out loud, because you catch things that are unrhythmical or don't really flow that well when you do it. Has anybody ever read something that did you ever read something that you wrote out loud to yourself before you turned it in?
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, that's a good way to catch problems with rhythm and all that. There's another example here of two prepositional phrases strung together in a hole in the ground. There lived a hobbit. Everybody like The Hobbit? Anybody read it?
Is that?
Seen the movie? You have? Yeah. Classic book. You should all check it out. Oh, someone's reading it for choice reading too, I think. So with prepositional phrases, you can string them together. You do this all the time. Tiffany, you left your homework at home. You call home. Who's there? Anybody home that can bring your homework to you?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe you call your parents at work or something. Like, hey mom, hey dad, I need you to get my homework and bring it to school or I'm gonna get a big 0. It's gonna ruin my grade. And your parents are like, you knucklehead, what's wrong with you? That's what my dad would call me. What do your parents call you? Oh yeah, parents don't call their kids names anymore. That was just when I was a kid. Yeah, when I was a little kid, I thought my name was Knucklehead. That's the only thing my dad called me. Yeah, okay, where's your homework? Oh, okay, so it's in my bedroom. That's a prepositional phrase. Next to my bed. That's a prepositional phrase. On the table. That's a prepositional phrase. Under the alarm clock. That's a prepositional phrase. You could put 4 of them or 5 of them or 6 of them together. I suppose at some point it just looks a little peculiar if you have too many of them strung together, but we do this when we're speaking, and you can do it in your writing sometimes too. It is legitimate to have multiple prepositional phrases sometimes if it suits the purpose. Well, here we have 2. This next one's kind of weird. It has a subject, and then it has the main verb of the clause all the way over here, and in between is a prepositional phrase. And you'll see that with all these patterns. It'll have the phrase at the beginning, the phrase between the subject and the verb, and then an example of the phrase at the end. But in this case, the prepositional phrase is weird a little bit. It's kind of a compound one. We have in sad colored garments and gray steepled crown hat. So we have 2 nouns that are the object of the preposition in, and they're like compounded. And there are also some adjectives thrown into: sad colored and gray steeple crowned. So you can elaborate on your prepositional phrases sometimes by adding in some adjectives here and there. And there are other ways to elaborate on them too. You can add other phrase types to them, which we'll see. And then there's an example one at the back, at the end. The sea is high again today with a thrilling flush of wind, which again, this is 2 prepositional phrases: with a thrilling flush and then of wind. Simple way sometimes to add a little variety just with a prepositional phrase. And you can reword sentences to incorporate them, or if you already have them in your sentence, you can move them around sometimes to break up the rhythm if it's too repetitive. If it's always subject, verb, subject, verb, subject, verb, subject, verb. But wait! There's more. For $15.99, not only do you get a set of prepositional phrases, but you can also get an awesome set of
Free delivery.
positive
Oh.
phrases. I don't know, are you packing up like it's time to go or something?
Yeah, 3 minutes.
3 minutes? That's awfully early to be packing up.
Hey man, you get a set of what?
Actually, we only have 2 technically because it rings early. So.
Yeah. You
I
get a
guess
set
I
of
will.
what?
Huh?
What you say you get a set of? I said free delivery.
Positive phrases. Look at this. Scrolls up. Bam! It's like the Emerald Lugosi show. Bam!
Noun phrases that identify or relabel adjacent.
Now, whatever they're next to. Adjacent means next to. So.
Yeah.
Mr. Eggers, the teacher, locked the classroom. And when I say the teacher, that's in a positive phrase. It's a noun phrase that's relabeling me, Mr. Eggers, or whatever you're talking about. So you could say, well, there are a bunch of examples here. A balding, smooth-faced man. He could have been anywhere. He could have been anywhere between 40 and 60. So he is the thing that's being modified there by that positive phrase. But I'll go over those tomorrow. I also have printed out a handout, so we'll do some grammar work with it. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. But I don't have a digital copy of it, so you can't lose it.